ISFP weaknesses. 7 struggles of being ISFP. ISFP is one of the 16 MBTI personalities and forms part of the temperament group known as the artisans, along with ESFP, ESTP and ISTP. The ISFP has been described as a tactical compasser, artist and adventurer. Among their strengths is the ability to adapt and improvise, creative expression, and open-mindedness. As with each of the other MBTI personalities, ISFPs contend with their share of obstacles. Here is a look at 7 weaknesses associated with being an ISFP.
1. Operating on schedule. ISFPs have an appetite for spontaneity that can make it difficult for them to regiment their time effectively or faithfully follow a schedule. Until they learn to structure their life more, they can be subject to inconsistent punctuality and fall into the habit of not thinking ahead in anticipation of delays outside their control. Furthermore, because of their unpredictable impulses, ISFPs are prone to abruptly canceling or changing plans on short notice. Oftentimes, a more advanced notice could have been given, but ISFP often doesn't think that far ahead or consider how certain events and potentials might interfere with the rest of their schedule. Additionally, when it comes to deadlines, ISFPs may have a tendency to postpone getting started on tasks until very late, where it becomes a rush to the finish line. 2. Planning ahead. ISFPs tend to live in the moment, chasing a series of instant rewards and immediate gratifications. For the ISFP, short-term prospects tend to hold more salience than the long-term prospects. Tomorrow is, after all, promised to no one, and this could be partly why ISFPs are more willing to focus on what makes them happy right now and deal with life as it comes. ISFPs may not have a very strong sense or vision of what they want their future to look like, but likely feel they can shape and sculpt it one day at a time. Furthermore, when they do plan, it may often be that their expectations lack a clear goal or structure for how to go about realizing that goal. ISFPs are inclined to follow more of a rough outline or sketch of a plan rather than a detailed blueprint. 3. Mood stability. ISFPs have intense emotions that respond strongly to what they experience. Rather than express their feelings outright, however, ISFPs tend to sublimate them through an art form or some other medium of expression. Being under stress can affect them in a very apparent ways and cause them to shut down emotionally and shut other people out. Normally chill and non-confrontational, ISFPs can become irascible and quarrelsome. ISFPs need time alone to collect themselves and gather their energies. Physical activity and spending time in the calming ambiance of nature can be especially therapeutic for them. 4. Adhering to rules and procedures. ISFPs are practical and sometimes unconventional in their approach to tasks. They are not inclined to innovate for innovation's sake, the way any users are. However, if they see a clearer, more efficient way of doing something, they would be hard-pressed to understand why they or anyone else should not do it that way. Standard operating procedures be damned. The TE aspirations of the ISFP lend them an underlying desire to optimize and be efficient in ways that make the most sense to them or the situation at hand. At the same time, they avoid being hemmed in or controlled by external systems they view as rigid and restrictive. They seek to exercise their individuality and personalized way of doing things, sometimes to the point of being rebellious or excessively contrarian. 5. Taking criticism. ISFPs don't much care to be subjected to the criticisms or admonishments of others and resist being influenced by them. Because of their sensitivity, it can be difficult not to take most criticisms personally and allow it to threaten their self-esteem. It can make them feel imposed upon and compel them to show defiance against those who try to put them down, devalue their work, or change something essential about them. ISFPs can have difficulty separating the constructive and well-intentioned criticism from the mean-spirited and pernicious criticism. Their introverted feeling judgment can make them overly protective of their right to be who they are and the sovereignty of their individuality. 6. Being hard on themselves. The ISFP can sometimes sell themselves short and downplay the compliments and gratitude they receive from others. ISFPs hold themselves to their own standards and ideals, and they avoid comparing themselves to others. They, however, can sometimes wrestle with perfectionist tendencies and spend an excess amount of time refining and fine-tuning their work, seeing it as a reflection or extension of themselves. Pursuing a path of constant growth and improvement is important to them, and so feeling a sense of stagnation and regression in their life can put a drag on their spirits and self-esteem, leaving them dissatisfied with their plight and struggle with feelings of self-doubt. 7. Communication. Like ISTP, the ISFP can be a person of few words. That is because their extroverted sensing preference is not very verbal in nature the way extroverted intuition is. Extroverted intuition, or NE, likes to discuss and work with ideas, whereas SE would rather do and experience. For this reason, verbal skills can often go underdeveloped in ISFPs, and this can contribute to the difficulty that others face in trying to get to know them better. ISFPs can be very shy and deprive others of seeing more of their charming spirit.